What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to be talking about the price of Bitcoin. I also want to touch on Ethereum, which has been defying gravity after the Ethereum upgrade. I actually haven't even released a video since Bitcoin's been above 30,000 because I was too busy making memes about it. I don't know if you guys saw this, a very funny meme. And you can also go on Reddit. You got a lot of views on Reddit. You can find it right on my pinned tweet on Twitter or in the Linktree tab. So first of all, Ethereum's upgrade was successful, and Ethereum has been up the past day. We've actually seen the price go from about 1,900 to 2,000, over 2,000. And we are just, I think, like $6 away from reaching the 2022 high point. And if we do get above 2,031 on Coinbase, that would put us at the highest prices for Ethereum in 11 months, almost an entire year. So that is amazing to see. One thing I want to point out before we move on to Bitcoin is the insane fractal that Ethereum is currently showing. And I'm just comparing it because the behavior is so incredibly similar. I mean, it's kind of mind-blowing. But anyway, moving on to Bitcoin. So in the beginning of the year, for those of you that have been following this channel for a long time or are very regular viewers, you guys remember that we were talking about the largest falling wedge in Bitcoin history back in January, right at the beginning of the year. We even discussed it when Bitcoin was sitting at, and this falling wedge has fully played out. I mean, we got the breakout, and this falling wedge has played out. We got the breakout of the falling wedge. This is, in fact, Bitcoin's largest bullish pattern ever. It took multiple years to form this falling wedge, but we finally exited it. So this is actually pretty historic. And what you'll notice about Bitcoin's current setup is that when we came down to the falling wedge, we had a low, a lower low, and a higher low, which was an inverse head and shoulders. And I don't know if you guys remember, but in the beginning of the year, we talked about that exactly, that we pump sooner, then correct to turn the previous resistance into new support as the right shoulder. We literally spelled it out for you guys here on this channel early on, so definitely subscribe to this channel if you like that kind of content. I mean, literally drew it on the chart on January 16th. And here we are. Boom. Now, the most important chart for me is the parabolic curve cheat sheet. Now, what we're looking at right now is 2019, because I want to show you guys just how closely this parabolic trend followed this diagram. We had our first initial base of support, a little bit of a run up to create base 2 there. You see that? And we ran to base 3, and then we hit base 4, and then we hit the top of the parabolic curve and then exited. It followed it to a T in 2019. Does that mean it's going to now? No, it does not mean that. Anything is possible, but it's at least very interesting to consider. If you overlay the parabolic curve cheat sheet onto the chart, this is now 2023. We were just looking at 2019. Now we're in the current day, and we're on the weekly chart. We have base 1, followed by base 2, now in base 3, and theoretically, Bitcoin is ready for the next major leg up towards base 4, which could be somewhere around 48,000, which interestingly enough lines up directly with what? The classic 618 Fibonacci, the 618. Right? So the next major move could bring us up to about 48,000 for base 4. And if you wanted to be safe, right? If we got to that, if you're trading this market actively and we get to that number and we get to base 4, which is, one of the final steps of the parabolic diagram, and you don't want to take too much risk for waiting for the, this type of a move to a new all-time high, base 4 is a great zone for profits. It is the 618, and it's a place that Bitcoin commonly traces up to on major bullish retraces. Is Bitcoin going to go higher? Are we going to break out to a new all-time high based on this parabolic diagram? Well, I'm not sure. What I do know is that when Bitcoin breaks this parabolic trend line, whenever that happens, maybe it happens next month. Maybe it happens up at base 4, 48,000, and then we break down. Maybe it happens at 100K. I don't know. But what I'm saying is whenever Bitcoin breaks it, that is the end of the current trend. And that's when you look for major sideways action. And if you go back to 2019, what did we get when we broke down? A lot of sideways. Even if you exclude COVID and you just take this candle out, we still went down sideways generally. And after this parabolic breakdown, a lot of sideways, right? It's always the case. You go over here, you look, Bitcoin goes parabolic. What happens when we break that trend line? A lot of sideways. So that's what we got to be very mindful of, is that whenever we do break it, because at some point we will, look for sideways on the breakdown. And then you could look for the next halving, right? So if we do break down a little earlier, well, then look for sideways and a recovery going into the halving. And also I want to mention Bitcoin's seasonality. We talked about this just like a month or two ago on this channel, and we discussed that April is the second most bullish month of the year. And we were saying on this channel that it was likely we were going to see upside in April just based on statistics. That's what it says. The next bullish month, the number one most bullish month is November, but the second most bullish month is April. That's where we are now. And this brings up the question of, sell in May and go away. A lot of people have been talking about that. What's interesting to me about that whole discussion of sell in May and go away is that if you look at the parabolic diagram, this actually would end, in theory, let's go over, get the vertical line, and let's just mark up June, just like the end of May, June or so. The end of May would be going right into base 4, right? Which is another reason to believe 48,000 would be a possible top zone before a medium-term correction in sideways action, and then looking for the halving. So right now, to me, the trend looks really good. We're still in April. We're not even halfway through April. If you look at the seasonality in April, 33% is the average monthly gain. 33%. I mean, that would mean that we would be going to at least 37,000. So if you wanted to get a target based on seasonality, about 37,000, based on historic performance of these types of mid-cycle trends, we're looking for 48. And anything beyond that is just a treat and a pleasure, I guess. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this kind of content, definitely subscribe, hit the like button. And if you want to support this channel, join Patreon. You can get in my Discord. You can see some more insight, some more inside stuff into what I'm doing. We're talking about cryptos, a little bit of stocks and everything in Patreon. I'll talk to you guys in the next video.